I mean, if Mr. Abrams is available for a few moments, I could ask him a couple of questions. So,
all right, Mr. Abrams.
Your Honor.
Hello, Mr. Abrams. Not good to talk to you at all, but thank you for being here. I would just like to ask you, in what planet, and you said in the video that I showed with you and Kathleen Kennedy, in what planet do you think people don't know who Luke Skywalker is, so they have to be reintroduced to him? How does that mindset work? Because you said that your reasoning for not having Luke as a vocal point is because there's a new generation of people that don't know Luke. Who doesn't know who Luke Skywalker is?
The idea was to continue the story and to begin with that young woman who felt like Luke Skywalker was a myth, and to tell a story that was not just history repeating itself, but a story that embraced the movies that we know as the actual history of this galaxy. So that they are still living in a place, where there is good versus evil. They're still living in the shadow of what has come before, still grappling with the sins of the father and the people who have preceded them.
Okay. Well, let me, if I can share my screen, I do have some direct quotes that I would like to speak with Mr. Abrams about episode 7. And it's right here. This is from an IndieWire interview. And I'm sharing my screen once again. And it says, in a recent Q&A with J.J. Abrams, Lawrence Kasdan, and Michael Arndt, the screenwriter revealed some pretty intriguing details about early drafts in The Force Awakens. The most eye-opening is that in earlier versions of the screenplay, Luke Skywalker was a much bigger force in the movie. Now, Michael Arndt is an Oscar-winning screenwriter. Michael Arndt wrote a little movie that many of you have maybe heard of called Toy Story 3. Pretty sure people like Toy Story 3. Pretty sure it did a good job of honoring the characters. Well, Michael Arndt was brought on to write the screenplay for episode 7 before J.J. Abrams was brought on. After J.J., this is what happened, ladies and gentlemen. And before I show you this, again, if there are emotionally unstable people in the audience, you might want to turn away from the text that I'm about to show you because it's quite disturbing. This is from Michael Arndt. Early on, I tried to write versions of the story where Rey is at home. Her home is destroyed, and then she goes on the road and meets Luke. And then she goes and kicks the bad guy's ass. Arndt said, it just never worked, and I struggled with this. This was back in 2012. Apparently, the issue was Luke's presence was always upstaging everyone in the script. It just felt like every time Luke came in and entered the movie, he just took over, Arndt continued. Suddenly, you didn't care about your main character anymore because, OF, Luke Skywalker is here. I want to see what he is going to do. So that tells me that you, JJ, entered this situation. You saw that Luke Skywalker was the focus and that Luke Skywalker was taking attention away from the new characters, which of course he is, because it is Luke mother effing Skywalker and he should be taking the attention. And you then fired Michael Arndt and blew up the entire script because you didn't want Luke Skywalker to be the focus of a Star Wars movie, especially the lead movie in the sequel trilogy. That's how that appears, Mr. Abrams. How would you like to respond to that?
Look, the lesson is that you have to plan things the best you can. And you always need to be able to respond to the unexpected. And the unexpected can come in all sorts of forms.
That was a terrible answer.
I do think that, there's nothing more important than knowing where you're going.
Yeah, that answer is about as good as your Star Wars. So I guess we can go ahead and call it par for the course. Mr. Abrams, it seems like questioning you is about as worthless as revisiting any of your films. So I would say the prosecution is willing to be cross-examined by people not named J.J. Abrams. Thank you.
Your Honor, I literally have a mystery box at home that I've had for decades, and I haven't opened it because I don't want to diminish the infinite potential that lies within.
Thank you, Mr. Abrams, and I appreciate your attendance